Alright, so you want to start an anime review channel, whether it be in the typical format of doing episodic reviews or doing pure out series and season reviews. And actually, there's actually a couple other formats out there, but those are the two popular ones I look at when I watch anime reviewers in general. There's the episodic reviewers like Chi Beats. I think there's a couple other ones out there. I think other one would be Samurai Reviews, and a couple other guys out there that do that type of format. Now, that type of format, in my personal opinion, is not what I do, but I do see the appeal for it because it keeps it can more condensed, so you can talk about the review of the episode and talk about it in general, so you can get the point across really. And it's not a bad format. I don't particularly think that it's my typical format and what I want to do for this channel, but if you're interested in that format, these tips and what I'm going to tell you right now are going to be something that I think is significant and is going to be important to you guys out there. So, and there's the other format, and that is the typical review format you get from Glass Reflections, something like Digibro, and all these deep analysis are these detailed ones that show off sections and segments and segues, pretty much like from look at the animation. Now we're moving on to the characters. Now the analyzation of the story, stuff like that type of stuff is what I typically tend to, because it gives away these little sections where I can sit there for a little bit talking about each section with as much detail as I can get across within a 8 to 10, a 5 to 10, 8-minute video. Sorry. Then, of course, there's the kind of other guys out there, the analysis guys. I think Digibro would be that type of one where they kind of just sit there and talk about it through and throughout and discuss certain parts of episodes and certain segments of the season and anime. Then they can get a point across and do some compare and contrast. That's a lot of an interesting format out there. I think that a lot of people, when they're doing reviews, should take in part of, because that is a very important thing to actually look at when you are doing a review, is just to really sit there and analyze it. Even if you're doing an episodic review or just a quick review format and just going over some brief points and the reason why you dislike it or like it, it is very important that you still got to analyze it, because you're analyzing it enough to where you think that you can boggle it down into a couple words. And if you think you can do that, then that's fine. I don't have any problem with that, and I think most people won't have any problem with that, because it actually saves time in their day, so they can get a point across and say, oh yes, I think you should watch so-and-so anime because it's a really good one, or it's really bad, or what, blah blah blah, whatever it is. So moving on from that point, let's talk a bit about kind of one of the things I notice a lot as well is production value. What are you worried about? If you typically have a camera, a webcam, or something that you can film with or capture with, it's typically good, especially in this day and age. I don't think there's any bad thing out there besides having low quality audio, low quality video as well. That is the two things I don't think is really good. What I mean by low quality audio, though, is typically I don't like my audio right now is fine. I think most people can understand me, what I'm saying, and they can hear things in the background and stuff like that. That type of stuff is really sensitive, good audio, especially with the microphone I have, which is a USB condensed microphone. But for a lot of people out there that are on a budget or looking to get into YouTube without paying anything, I really gotta say to you is you might want to invest a little bit into a better microphone, or if you don't have a computer, it's gonna be hard to do it all just from your phone, because most of the time, most phones, if you have modern 2015 to 2020, current 2017 phones, you'll be fine. I think most camera quality as well as audio quality in phones are done very well. So I really think that if you are just going to use your phone to record your reviews, it's fine. Actually, I think it's kind of perfect. Most people like to add footage and all that other stuff. I don't recommend that, since there's a lot of bullshit that goes behind it. What goes behind it? Well, you actually have some very serious problems, like, for example, copyright. Copyright is a big problem when it comes to people that like to use footage, and that's why I don't like to use footage, and I use the image format, where I show an avatar or an icon or whatever it is. For example, an image of a character I like to use, and that is Kima Kataragi from The World God Only Knows. I like to use his Chiba version and his Tuxedo version to get the point across that that's how I'm talking. That's who I'm kind of outputting my resources to, if you will, in a cynical as well as a political, not cynical and political. I mean a cynical and a derogative way. Regardless of that, though, that's something that I would look into if you have a low-end computer that can still handle video editing, but you need some kind of microphone. Any typical microphone of them you use. For example, if you even go to the store, you can use the headphone microphones. Those ones will be usually good because they have a little bit of watering out the sound, the background sound, so it isn't bad. So, it's not bad. But yeah. Anyways, though, moving on from that point. Let's talk a bit about from there on to what you think you should review. Now, I always have a problem with this because I feel like I have to review every fucking thing I touch. Everything my penis touch, I have to review. No, you don't have to review everything. And I think that's relaxing occasionally and not doing as many frequent reviews is important. Not as bad as I am right now. I fucking haven't uploaded a damn video in a long time on this channel, but the reason why is, well, there's fucking reasons, okay? Real life issues. Anyways, though, if you just go dive deep into one anime, even one anime per month, you're given at least a good enough of detail and content you feel like that quality equals up to a 1 month. But if you feel that quality isn't equal up to 1 month and you can do it more frequently, then do it, you guys. That's as simple as that. If you feel like you can bust your ass and do more content frequently on a daily basis, anime reviews on a daily basis, damn, that would be fucking hard. But if you can, then do it, man. I recommend it. It's something that I feel like most people out there take for granted when they watch their reviewers, their regular reviewers. They feel like they are obligated to upload a review a day. I mean, they can just wait a couple days, even if they have a fan and audience. I hear a lot of big YouTubers out there that don't really upload many anime reviews, at least big anime reviewers, because they feel like taking their time and waiting for something they actually like and they want to review. They'll wait for that because it makes it easier for them, because when they have a set schedule and they're doing things in between times and they feel like, all right, now I'm going to review this because this is what I want to review, then they'll do it. It's a lot easier that way. So a duration or the time limit to what you should review, I really don't have a lot of problems with it. Actually people having long ass 20-minute, 30-minute, an hour review. If you can do that, good, because actually that's a good amount of detail that people are missing out of when they're doing an 8-minute review. If you think you can condense it and put it into an 8-minute, 5-minute, even 3-minute review, then do it. It's something that's simply up to kind of, I guess, really, how would I say this? Up to kind of preference. There you go. Preference is really where this kind of ties into. If your preference is to watch an 8-minute review, then do an 8-minute review. If your preference is to watch an hour to half an hour review, then do it. That's your preference. If your preference is to do a 3-minute review, then do a 3-minute review. That's kind of what you think people are going to watch. I know I completely understand people out there that don't like watching long-ass videos. I actually see a lot of people that don't like to watch long-ass videos. Well, in my opinion, how I feel it is that I'd rather watch a long, detailed review that gets a point across and talks about certain story-centric parts that kind of change the whole anime itself, instead of condensing it into an 8-minute review that someone's can get my message that I'm saying that, oh, this one part of the story is blah blah blah, and this part of the story is bad, and here's why, and they think that, oh, since that part of the story is bad, I should just not watch this anime, when instead you can say this episode is bad, this part of this anime is bad because of this certain point and how it builds up to this certain point and what kind of scenarios are outputted. But also there's a lot of other ways out there to convey the message, and that's really what you're doing when you're doing a review, is conveying a message of why you should or you shouldn't buy, watch, rate, or whatever it is this anime, and that's really what I want you guys to know when you're reviewing an anime. That's something that I always think of when I'm reviewing an anime, is that what do I want to tell these guys out there about this anime? And I think that that's important. That's something that you should think about when you're doing an anime review, is what you think is important. I mean, typically most people will think animation, voice acting, character development, story, presentation, stuff like that shit. And if you think that's important, then do it. I think sometimes in my reviews, I'm still deciding on actual permanent format, but most of my review, the only review I should say I've done, has actually used that presentation, story, characters, animation, music, and voice acting and all that other shit. And if you feel like that's important, then go for it. But if you're a person out there that doesn't think that's important, they should really talk about characters a lot, then go for it. That's something I think is really what you want to do. If you feel it's necessary to review about characters, review characters. If you feel like your review has to highlight animation, talk about animation. That's really up to what you think everything is and what you think everything comes down to. So that's really all I got to say on this topic. It's something that interests me, and really I don't mean to make this video fucking long, but that's really something I think you guys should think about when you're doing your next anime review, or if you're interested in getting into doing anime reviews at all. Simply put, do what the fuck you want to do. If you don't have high-end production, that's alright. Most people will watch low-end production for a while, and if you're good at it, they'll know and they'll see the passion that comes from that video, and they'll stick around. If you feel like you should have long reviews, do long reviews. If you feel like the highlight of your review should be characters, then do characters. It's really up to what your preference is. I'm just giving you guys tips and options and things to think about when you're doing a review. So whether you take it to heart or whether you put my advice to the side, it is completely up to you. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully it's informational in some places, in some formats, and some kind of nonsense. So yeah, with that said, BeBopAnime or Tyrone, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.